Hello, chat. We're getting started. Just a second. And now they can hear you guys.
No, they can hear us.
Yeah. All right. Just make sure. What do I need?
Okay.
Put this here. Get Mikey's
Hi, chat. How are you doing?
face. And then I'm gonna bring up OBS up here. All right.
treat that like a single unity, like a hive mind of it.
Discord was down earlier. It's fine now, right? Though.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think
fine.
I like super hard reinstalled Discord, so hopefully we won't have a problem today, Jeff.
Super hard.
I deleted some local files and stuff and everything.
Super hard. Okay.
It's super hard. It's raging hard.
Okay. Mike, turn down the gain on your mic a little bit.
It's uncomfortably hard.
Oh.
Okay, I turned down the gain on my mic a little bit.
Hooray. All right. What do I got? I got last of the Nintendogs rundown, and then I just need stream elements, right?
Sure.
Yep.
That's the thing I have to have open for this show. All
Look,
right,
Jeff, I got a light. Look at me. Look how lit I am.
Oh, you look lit. I'm very happy for you.
Wait till everyone sees how lit I am. They're gonna be so excited.
All right, well let me get into OBS. Take a look and let me take a look. See here, studio mode, so I could just like go right into it with you looking correct. Why is it like that?
Shave my head again. Got some tufts of hair coming out.
Oh, I'm using the wrong thing. That's what it is. Okay. Display capture.
Jeff was not playing Outer Ring. I checked. I looked at
I was not. No, I was getting the 3-year-old kind of like settled because she had school today, and then she just ate a whole roast beef sandwich, so she's tired as heck. And I'm like, hey,
wow, what a busy day.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, here's a beanbag. Here's Lilo and Stitch. Now just lay down and play.
I want that.
Yes, she's got a good life going right now.
I want these things. I like Lilo and Stitch.
And then I set her down, and I was like, man, I would like to just lay down here next to you and take a nap too. And I'm like, but I gotta go do the podcast. Okay.
I could take a nap with an exciting movie like Lilo and Stitch on.
She took a nap during it yesterday. She actually like calms down and watches it though. I think that's why she can take a nap. Okay, Mike, you're looking good.
Looking lit.
I'm looking a bit blown out, so let me just fix that real quick, everybody, and then we'll get started.
I can adjust some things. I can make it more of a bright light or more of a warm light if you want, or make it brighter or darker.
I think it looks pretty good. I am no lighting expert, so I'm not going to tell you what to do, Mike.
It's better than it was. It's better than when I was literally just being lit by the light in the room up there and my
Jesus
screen.
Christ.
Yes, it definitely is good.
The time I got the God ray.
What is going on?
Yeah, the God ray's here, I think. Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
There you are.
All right, let me just turn down my gain. There we go. Kind of match what you got going on there a little bit, and then we'll be good. Okay.
Jeff, are you doing streaming tomorrow?
Mikey is too loud, says Jeff. Or says Nick Turbo.
Yeah, I'll be fixing that. I haven't taken a look at the audio yet. Mike, talk.
Mike is talking. I'm talking.
You are. Actually, you know what?
I'm a little loud.
Turn down your gain just one more notch for me. Because that'll be the safer side, where it's like... Okay, now
I did that.
Okay,
talking.
And now
my gain is down.
Down on my side. This is normally a little bit lower on my side anyhow, so that's definitely my fault.
It's always your fault.
Yes, it always is. I am talking at this level, and I'm not getting up in there at all. Okay, all right, this is good. Oh, there we go. There we go. And yeah, I just need to turn you more.
We're both. I'm trying to talk over you right now, just so people can tell us how it is. Hi, Donnie.
This is good. I usually like it when you're a little bit louder than me because people always say that you're quieter for some reason. I tried to fix that, and this seems to be the good level.
Yeah, sometimes I do this stupidly. I get far away from the mic, and I'm an idiot.
Okay,
but I won't do that.
Well, we're professional podcasters here, everybody.
There we go.
Okay,
we're proud.
We're set up. Thank you for having the patience. So, some people don't like the setup portion of the show, Mike. Some people don't like it.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah. I'm trying to make it. So I'm trying to make it quicker, which means I think we're ready to go. You ready to go?
Okay, let's go. Bye.
Thank you, Christian.
Lowered my camera a little bit because I'm slightly higher than you, and I want to help. I can do things myself. Let me know if that's good.
Hang on.
I did it the wrong way. I did it the wrong way because I'm a dummy.
Baby.
It's putting it up is way harder. I don't know if I'm making it worse, probably. Why? What did Jeff scream about? Where's Jeff going? Why did Jeff scream and leave? I'm worried. Okay.
That's what you get for hating on the pre-show. Now you're gonna get way more
I'm
pre-show.
gonna get way more. Is this gonna be high enough? I think Sap's fine.
Oh, I was thinking.
We had a lot of people.
She's a mess.
What happened?
The tablet turned off for a second.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, there we go. Now we're
all she had to
perfectly.
do is just hit the
now
button
it's really
again.
shit.
Tweet. That's the thing. Tweet.
Yeah.
When did I left? See? When I leave, she goes. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. We're good, Christian. Thank you. The setup's fine. It is what it is.
Yep.
I mean, we always tell people it's pretty easy to figure out where the show starts.
Yeah, we always put it in. And if you really hate it, just listen to the audio version. She is freaking out again. All right, I might have to go check on her. Let me tweet first.
Tweet.
Oh my goodness. All right, I'm gonna go check on her and then we'll get started.
Yep.
For the love of God, what's going on? See?
Okay. Mike, were you
did?
playing there for a second?
That can't be right.
What?
Somebody said I was muted. VJ Incoming said I was muting. I don't think I was muted. I think
Were you actually playing notes right when I got back? There at the very end, right before you started talking. Were you, because I did not hear any notes. Play it. Are you just messing with us?
It's what? Nothing coming out?
No.
What do I have? RTX? Did RTX turn on or something automatically? Something dumb?
Maybe.
Must be what happened.
Because I'm freaking out right now.
So
Okay.
You're hearing everything else I do completely normally, but not. I think it's.
Correct. Nothing.
Yeah, RTX got turned on or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I did reinstall Discord, so it probably is something.
Oh! You probably have
remember?
Crisp turned on. Can you go to actually turn that off because it makes you sound worse? Go to.
Yes. Turn off noise suppression by.
Oh
Crisp.
God, you sound better. Okay, now do it. Nope. Still don't hear it.
No, really?
Really? Sorry, everybody. We're figuring this out, but he did just install
Well, it
Discord.
doesn't really matter. If they can hear me, it's fine, but it's just annoying. Why can't people hear me play my flute? That's weird. That's okay. Well, we'll figure that out later. That's not a big deal, I guess.
All right. Yep, not a big deal. We'll figure this
Weird,
out.
though. Weird. I am not. Like,
A+ level trolling.
Trust me, I wish I was that smart. NVIDIA, I bet NVIDIA. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Flute not plugged in.
Jensen just hates flutes. Yeah.
Yeah, weird.
He's more of a sax man. Okay, well, you can tell by his leather jackets. All right, we're getting started, everybody. This is the wrong thing. This is the right thing, right?
Hey, you guys hear me?
You can't hear that because I switched my thing. So you probably could hear him talking because he's a voice. But let me go to chat. All right, Mike, you ready?
Why did I open RTX voice? No, yeah. It's not even working. It doesn't even work. What am I even doing?
Check it. Did you install something called Broadcast? NVIDIA Broadcast. Listen. If you
We'll worry about this later.
Okay. All right, cool. Here we go. I'm counting down. Are you ready to go?
I am ready.
All right. The lines you need to say are bolded, Mike, so pay attention
It's
to that.
true. Well, I need to say all these lines, but the ones I keep forgetting are bolded.
5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now! Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof woof. Hi, I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I am a Nintendog.
And we are the last of the Nintendogs. Today, Kirby and the Forgotten Land has a demo. Glover is back, thank God. And we're talking about our favorite Pokemon starters. Jeff, how is it going?
It's going good. I'm going good. I still have not played the Kirby demo.
Damn it, Jeff. I was going to even ask. I was going to even text you yesterday. Play the demo so we can talk about it. Oh, that's okay, Jeff. Don't play the Kirby demo before our Nintendo podcast. I'm sure that, it's important you played. It's important that you played Elden Ring for another 5 hours. It's, a 20-minute demo. When can you find the time?
It's at this point almost like I just want to wait for the real game, but I do. I mean, I really want to experience Kirby, and that's actually kind of a long time until the game comes out when I'm thinking about it. It's like 2 full weeks or something like that. So, I still haven't played it, but people seem to really enjoy it. So people seem to be really into it, but I don't know. I'm busy. I'm a busy man. It's nonstop over here, Mike. It's nonstop. I'm always trying to fix your audio. There's always something wrong there.
I think that's a you problem. Yeah. Anywho. Okay, Jeff. Well, you know what? Before we get going this Nintendo stuff, and before I yell at you anymore for being an awful person,
of course,
Sony did just announce today there's going to be a state of play.
They did,
and
yes,
we can tie into Nintendo because, well, look, they're ripping off Nintendo Directs, ha ha ha. So, but Jeff, real quick, what are we expecting from this?
I'm expecting probably them to announce their Spartacus, which is kind of like their Nintendo Switch Online like game library thing with the classic games, mixed with some like EA Play stuff with like game trials and things like that. What do you think? While I go to help this kid real quick.
I think Spartacus is right. The way that they said, our Japanese publishing partners, basically, I'm really hoping for a Final Fantasy 16. And honestly, it's pretty hard to imagine saying that if you're not bringing Final Fantasy 16 there. I don't know why you include that kind of language otherwise. And then aside from that, though, I do wonder, since, so many of their big things these days are not the Japanese side, right? So when they say our big Japanese partners, what else is that? Yeah, Gravity Rush PC port. I wish Christian, but probably not. In fact, today because it was Women's Day or something today, and they posted their
International
banner,
Women's Day. Yes, correct.
Yeah, and they got rid of Cat from their thing, which made me very mad because I like Cat and I like Gravity Rush a lot. When I said today is Women's Day or whatever, I didn't mean for it to sound dismissive. I am just an ignorant slut, to be clear. But Jeff, we're getting Final Fantasy 16 here, right?
The way they phrased it, which was
the Japanese publishing partners. Why would you say that if you're not going to have Final Fantasy 16 there?
That is my feeling, right? Where you kind of can't say that and then not bring Final Fantasy 16. That is my feeling on that, but that doesn't mean necessarily that they will. I think the Japanese publishers could be referring maybe to Capcom and Resident Evil 4 Remake. Maybe it's time we get that. Seems like that's also likely. I mean, they said plural, right? It was like they're going to be checking on multiple Japanese publishers. So
right, so they're multiple. So even more chances for one of them to be Final Fantasy 16, right?
I think they are setting themselves up for a backlash if they say that and they don't have Final Fantasy 16. And they seem very sort of tuned in to what might cause a backlash and would try to avoid that if that were the case. So Final Fantasy 16 better be there. It's kind of how I feel. Sure. I go about my life and I forget often that Final Fantasy 16 is just exclusive to PlayStation 5. It's just weird still.
Right, so that's actually a big deal. So again, you would think it would be there. Like Resident Evil 4 could be there, but that's going to come out on Xbox also.
Right.
So yeah, all right. Well, we'll see. This isn't a PlayStation podcast. We can move on. But Jeff, you want to live stream that tomorrow when it happens?
I do. Yes.
You'll do that. So stay tuned.
What time is it again? So
I don't know.
Okay.
I do not know.
I'll probably have it live streamed. I might have to run out and drop a kid off or something in the middle of it, but it'll still be live streamed.
We'll get Rachel in there too and stuff. We'll have a grand old time. All right, Jeff. So this already happened with a bunch of other game studios, but Nintendo has stopped eShop payments in Russia. I think they did that on Friday. This has been kind of, at this point, it's like if you don't do this, you kind of look weird. Oh, exactly. The PlayStation thing is 5 p.m. Eastern. So later, Jeff, we could probably, or you might be okay.
Yeah, I think I'll be able to make that work.
All right, so I don't know if I have anything else to say about it with this. I'll tell you what. Last time we brought this up, and we were as quick to talk about this and as non-controversial as I could imagine, and we still had some angry comments about it, Jeff. So I don't know.
Yes, there was some Russian users who were not happy with us They're like, don't talk about it if you don't understand. But I think.
I mean, I kind of understand. I understand it's bad, to be clear.
Yes, exactly. I feel like we're talking about in sort of the way a lot of these companies are talking about it, in which it's like, do not want to seem supportive of the country invading a sovereign nation right next door. That seems bad. And since then, of course, it's kind of hard not to absorb a lot of this stuff. It seems just like a giant fuck up on the side of Russia, and the aggression does seem all one-sided. And if you're a company and you're out there doing business and there are all these sanctions, and even if those sanctions don't affect you, like, we live in a very interconnected global market, and when people want to decide who they're going to do business with, it's very easy to be like, well, I don't want to do business with a company that's still getting money from Russia. It's that simple. And people can call that virtue signaling because it is.
I guess that is one of my virtues is that countries shouldn't invade other countries for no reason, and I am signaling that virtue right now.
Exactly. Like, it's just that simple. Where it's like, yeah, that just happens to be one of those things I believe in. Weird, right?
I think other countries shouldn't murder another country's babies and children for geopolitical gain. But okay.
If
you want to get mad about that, go ahead.
Go ahead. On the whims of a single madman. But yes, I think that we can expect this kind of to continue until basically, I mean, we're almost already there. Almost no one wants to take any sort of money from Russia. And again, I don't remember what show we talked about this on. It isn't just virtue signaling. It's also just sort of pragmatic, because you're not going to take money. You're not going to take payment in rubles right now. The ruble's worthless. Sure. That is like it is a major headache to try to deal with that. Why even deal with that when where the baggage with that is now you also look like you're just like struggling to try to keep taking money from this country that is committing a war crime right now. I'm not surprised that Nintendo did this. This just seems like a very easy choice to make for most companies.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It sure does. I think I saw also like the Pokemon company or something directly raised money for Ukraine recently, or is donating money to Ukraine. So, but anyways, there's never a very good transition from these topics, Jeff. So we'll just get into it. Kirby and the Forgotten Land did get a demo last week. First, that's pretty interesting because it's not every Nintendo game that gets a demo, right? We've seen it a little bit recently. Triangle Strategy had one.
Metroid Prime Metroid Dread got one after it came out.
Yeah, right after it came out. So that was different. Why do you think this got a demo?
I think that they are confident in it. I think that they are. I think they want to let people know this is the next big thing, and one of the ways to get people talking. Like you saw, there was a lot of Nintendo YouTube content creators who quickly jumped on the demo and made a video of I played the new Kirby. Here are my thoughts, and I think that and the reception to it has been really positive. So I think people are I don't know. To me, it signifies that this is the next big Nintendo game in a way that not having a demo would not.
You think it signifies confidence from them then, and you think they want people to see look, this is the 3D Kirby game you probably always dreamed about. You can try it right now and see.
Right, we made a promise with the early trailers, and now you can play it and see that we actually delivered on that promise. And we know that people who have previously played Kirby games have reason to be skeptical of that, but don't be for this one, because we really did go all out.
It's the same reason that Square Enix released a Balan Wonderworld demo then, huh? Because they just knew that had something, and once people played it.
The same.
Why did that have a demo?
Fuck, I really do not understand any of the choices that happened that led us to Balan Wonderworld and or its demo.
God. That's all right. Square Enix is rebounding now with Babylon's Fall.
Yes, exactly. It's just it's all upside for them now with Babylon's Fall.
That company would absolutely be in incredible trouble for Final Fantasy 14. I think about that constantly. They probably would have been sold by now if they didn't have Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, I think it definitely is a likelihood that they would be in a much they'd be much likelier target for acquisition if they did not have Final Fantasy 14 money.
Jeff, Next Level Games, Douglas Tronsgaard, one of the founders or co-founders, announced his retirement. First off, Tronsgaard is a great name because he sounds like he's part of the character Tron's Royal Guard or something. So I like that a lot. I like imagining what that looks like. So, moi there. But
Tronbon, he's the guard for Tronbon, actually. From
that's also very good. Well, that's just a serve bot. Those are just serve bots. Great.
I don't know what a trombone is other than a very expensive PSP game? Is that what it is?
No, PlayStation 1.
PlayStation 1? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Remember how Capcom had those serve bots, those little like yellow robot guys?
Okay,
they were like mascots for Capcom for a little bit there in the 2000s.
Yes, I do know that, yes.
Yes, they served Tron Bon.
Fair
It
enough.
was good stuff. Jeff, we talk about next level games a lot and how great they are. Is there any cause for concern them losing a higher up like this?
I don't think so. This seems like it was inevitable once the sale happened. It's like, you know, you got your payday, you make sure things get transitioned under Nintendo, and now what? Like, you know, you have been there for so long that you've certainly set up people underneath you to do most, if not all, of the day-to-day development work and decision making. And before, you were like making sure the company was in a financial strong spot and was able to like survive and thrive and all that stuff. And now that's Nintendo's job now. So it's like, I could see every reason why it's like, okay, I got my payday. I'm succeeding. I'm going out on top on a big success, and I'm going to go retire. Like, good for him.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sure things will be just fine there. And yeah, seems like a well-deserved retirement.
Agreed.
Here's finally the big story of the week, Jeff. Glover is coming back. Now, granted, not to a Nintendo console yet, anyways, but Glover is coming to PC. This is based on the Nintendo 64 version, not the PlayStation 1 version. This is coming out on April 20th, which has to be intentional. But Jeff, Glover.
Yeah, I'm excited, I think. I don't know.
What a Steam Deck game, huh?
Yeah, right. I'm definitely going to play it on the Steam Deck. I went on my Steam Deck and I like added it to my Steam account like immediately.
Steam wish list or whatever.
Yeah. And so I'm like, all right, there we go. Now I'm ready to go for 420. I got, of course, just in time, just exactly what I needed for 420. Glover is okay. Like, even then it was like maybe okay at best.
Glover was a rental store favorite, man.
Yes. Absolutely.
It was a great rental. Because it was always a fun concept, and I would play it for a bit, like, wow, this is neat. And then, like, level design's not very good, but I like being a glove.
Yes. Yeah, right, exactly. And it's like, you're like moving this ball around, and that's like the objective, and that's a neat idea. And this character model should maybe look even better than it does, even for an N64 game, but whatever. This is fun. And it's like very, like the ideal version of what a N64 game should be, a 3D platformer. Yes. With some colors, and it's got the drab graphics and stuff.
I think that nails it. It is it is such a Nintendo 64 game, especially for one that's not made by Nintendo,
right?
Which like shocks me. There's a PlayStation 1 version of it, actually.
Right. Apparently, it sucks really bad.
Enjoy
like that PS1 version. Oh, there you go.
A little Sprite Zero action.
Yeah, but it's So yeah, I agree. Like, it's surprising there was a PS1 version. People hated that version, and it's not like the N64 version was that much better, but it was better.
It's better. Well, yeah. So
but, I don't know. It's the kind of game where we bring it up on this podcast a lot. Like, if there's we'll make a reference. We'll make a reference to Glover. Sure, I haven't played it since it came out though, and I'm like, now that
it's been a while.
Yeah, now a bunch of people are going to get a chance to play it again. I might check in on it alongside that group. It's not going to be like everyone. It's not going to be Elden Ring, but like, one or two people who listen to our show might check in on it. We'll have a few laughs for like a week, and then I'll move on and probably not play it again, maybe ever, for the rest of my life.
Imagine those sweet Glover HD texture mods, though.
Yes, there you go. Hamburger Helper mod as well. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's. I mean, do you even need a mod? It's already that, basically. Jeff, Monster Hunter Rise is getting a Nintendo Switch Online game trial for America and Europe, and that's going to go from March 10th to March 17th.
That's a pretty lengthy time.
Yeah, it makes sense here. Get people to try out that game ahead of the launch of that expansion that's coming out later this year, right?
Yeah, it does make sense, and these things work really well. I've never been one for like free weekends or anything like that, but I always see like a bunch of people tried the game on this free weekend, and it really worked. It was a very effective marketing strategy. So promising people a chance to play it for a week, that should be pretty effective. Again, as you say, right before this thing comes out, so people are going to get into it, and they're like, well, I might as well just buy this whole big package that includes everything and just get right into it. I'm excited for people to check this out. Like I really want to give Monster Hunter Rise a real chance, but it's just been nonstop since
It's hard.
Yeah,
It's hard. It's kind of hard once you met the zeitgeist the first time. Maybe this will create kind of a zeitgeist aftershock before the it really comes back when this expansion launches.
Right, and that's a game that also has a demo. Like you could just play the demo, but like a game trial does imply like no, you're just trying the real thing, and all this stuff will carry over if you continue it. There's other implications there. I think will make more people want to try it.
Mm-hmm. Jeff, that is it for the news. We got a few super chats already. If you guys want to send in a super chat, you can. We will read that in a bit. You can also send in a super chat if you want to tell us who your favorite Pokemon starter is. But first, let's get to these community questions. Are you ready, Jeff?
I'm ready.
Dr. Sus says, does Nintendo build their publishing schedule taking more into account game importance or game genre? Example, space out AAA games to give each enough marketing time, or space out strategy games to not give a particular fan base too much at once. Which matters more? Jeff, I imagine both of those things are considerations.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea which one matters more?
I mean, it probably depends on the game specifically, but I would bet like the budgeting concern is probably because like the bigger the game, the bigger marketing budget's going to get, and then there's only so much capacity at Nintendo to manage that marketing. So I bet like the size of the AAA game like is probably the bigger consideration there, and they wouldn't worry too much about genre, because if you're super into a genre, a lot of people will just buy both games. Like if there's two games coming out near each other, they'll just buy both. So that's not too much of a concern.
Alex says, Zelda, Mario, 2D Metroid, Pokemon, and soon-to-be Kirby, fingers crossed, have all had their big, jaw-dropping, revolutionary entries on the Switch. What do you think is next? I mean, I guess I would hope 3D Metroid would be, right? I guess that's my hope, is that Metroid Prime comes out and is great. Aside, like something more shocking, like if I don't really think it's happening, but if that Donkey Kong game is a real thing, like the Mario Odyssey people making a Donkey Kong game, and as long as it is actually a 3D game, maybe that. But even then, I don't really think that's what's happening there.
Yeah. They're jaw-dropping revolutionary entries. I mean, yeah, you would hope it's Metroid Prime 4, but it's like also if Metroid Prime 4 does come out like soon and is like delivering, like keeping this lineage going. I also kind of want it to just be more Metroid Prime 1, so it doesn't need to be revolutionary or anything like that. But yeah, like if it's like the 3D version of Donkey Kong 94, I agree with that. That would be awesome.
I wish they would make a Yoshi 3D platformer with, I mean, they basically had the mechanics established in Mario Odyssey, and they worked pretty well. So if you just add some egg throwing stuff on top of that and just make like this really Yoshi-ass Yoshi game, that would be fantastic. Yes. But I don't know if that's on the horizon.
Right.
Nick Turbo says, do you think Breath of the Wild would have been as well received if it was only released on Wii U as originally planned? This is always such a great what if, isn't it, Jeff?
Yeah,
because the game would have been good still. Like that wouldn't have changed, but it was so important that it came out with this new system in terms of it being this kind of cultural touchstone that it was.
Yeah, it's like it was very easy for it all the buzz to be positive, because it wasn't like no one was like moaning about it being locked to the system that no one, like the few people really wanted to buy. And of course, Breath of the Wild probably would have flipped many of those people like, oh, now this thing is worth it. It's got this good Mario game. It's got this good, now it has a good Zelda. There's some other stuff on here. It's got the Mario Maker. That's incredible. But the fact that it was on the Switch freed it to sort of define itself. And I think for the most part, it probably would have been as well received in terms of like the way people talked about it. But I think the number of people receiving it that way would have been smaller. It would not have been like this massive cultural thing. It would have been a little bit more underground. It would have been like, hey, like people are missing out on the best game of this year. It probably would have still won Game of the Year and all that stuff.
I mean, it could have been like Wind Waker, right? Like Wind Waker is very well received, but there weren't a ton of GameCubes out there. There weren't that many people who played Wind Waker back in the day. Exactly. It would have been worse than that, to be clear, because it was the fucking Wii U. But so.
Exactly, and it might not have been as influential, maybe, because it's like it really needed, like everyone played Breath of the Wild, and when everyone played it, now it's easy to like look and see. Most developers are like very influenced by it. Probably would not have been the same thing if it was just stuck on the Wii U.
I think some people in our community are having fun with a lot of people having Turbo in their name, because now we have Bench Turbo saying, if the Switch wasn't a hit or never came along, and Nintendo pretty much fell into financial ruin, and today's acquisition party was still happening, who do you think would realistically been up to acquire Nintendo? I feel like if things got really bad for Nintendo, like let's say, the Switch wasn't there to save the day, and their portable systems weren't a thing anymore because people were just making portable PCs and whatnot, and the mobile thing didn't work out. It would be a tech company and not a video game company per se, right? Like I still feel like it would have been an Apple or something like that would have acquired.
What about the Walt Disney Corporation?
I think that they would have been too afraid and confused about video games to buy a video game company, especially one that's not based in America.
Yeah, and one that would have been like, it would take some convincing, even once they owned Nintendo, to be like, make Disney games, because the people at Nintendo would probably be a little bit hesitant about like embracing that stuff. I don't know. It'd be more like Nintendo being like, make Mario movies, like you do that instead. And I don't know how that relationship would work.
Just wouldn't really have worked out. But I mean, it would have been so weird because Nintendo's IP is just worth so much on its own, especially now. So it's hard to. That's a what if that's hard to answer. But I get it would have to be somebody with a ton of money and with maybe more money than sense. Maybe a Google or something like that, right?
Right. Yeah.
Nick Turbo Sean. This is not Turbo Sean or Nick Turbo. So this person has the combined power to make us feel old and to have bad opinions about Super Metroid.
Wow. We have Voltron here. Yeah.
Dear Nintendogs, you're at work enjoying a nice, refreshing lunch when bam, Shiggy himself appears and tasks you with inventing the third Mario brother. Here's what he wants: a name, a color scheme, a personality type, and some type of facial hair.
Okay.
I think I want mine to have orange spice color, and his personality is that he really likes the orange spice color from the GameCube era.
Yes, of course.
Yes, and he has mutton chops, and his name is I guess it's just Orangio.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's what he is. That's what defines his personality. It's basically like me. What defines his personality is how much he likes the spice orange color from GameCube.
Yeah. Okay. The name is Leonardo. The color is I'm gonna just spice orange is the right color to do for this character. That's actually a good point. A personality very mopey. And he has a soul patch. That is the facial hair. Soul patch.
Mm-hmm. Bonus question: what genre/series of games does this Mario bro have tied to him?
Yeah,
I think yours is like a wave race guy.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, exactly. He's an extreme sports guy. It's the only time he ever feels anything is when he's almost about to die.
Yeah. Mine is a big Baten Kaitos fan.
Okay,
whatever that. Yeah, he's really into that.
Baten Kaitos and Odama. He likes shouting into the GameCube mic. Yeah.
He's really big into those. Velocity Prime 1 says, "Hello, dear dogs. If you could wrap your whole body around an inanimate object and control it like Kirby does, which object would you choose? Size is no obstacle." Got asked this somewhere. It might have even been on Xbox era, but
it might just be something you're always thinking about anyhow. Also,
but I said lawnmower at the time, which just seemed practical. But if size was no object, then I would just wrap my entire body around Spaceship Earth, the giant golf ball from Epcot. Just kind of scare everybody, being a weirdo, maybe threatening to start rolling around. That'd be good.
Yeah, I'll just do the Washington Monument. I'll just be a giant Kirby flesh-colored penis thing attacking Washington.
Very
DC.
good.
Yes.
Does your penis have a point, Jeff?
Yours doesn't?
Winnie says, what Nintendo character would be the best special guest murderer for an episode of Columbo? How would they commit the crime? Good. And just one more thing. Who would they kill? That's pretty good. I could see Waluigi killing Daisy in a fit of jealous rage.
Right, definitely. Or Daisy
with a tennis racket.
Or Daisy killing Waluigi because her family doesn't like divorce and she's afraid of leaving him. Right.
Also, why is she married to Waluigi? Racket.
Definitely with a tennis racket. Absolutely.
Now in Columbo, it's almost always some kind of like rich person, some kind of like some kind of society.
It's a high society, yes. Because it's always you're always supposed to be like, oh, Columbo is underestimated because this person in the high class does not fully believe that they're capable. Yeah, he's just some schlub.
Yeah, are there any Nintendo characters that belong in the high class? They're all kind of just schlubs themselves. Is why we like them.
What's the prince from Bean Kingdom?
Prince Peasley?
Prince Peasley. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, he would murder somebody.
Yeah, he would definitely. He might already be a murderer. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that. All right, Nintendo Bro says, no question this week. Just wanted to give a shout out to the Beef and Cheddar Boys and the rest of the community members who made it out for Splatoon 2 community game night. Yes, that was fun.
It's great.
It was good stuff. I was like, yeah, Splatoon 2 is very good. I sure am excited for Splatoon 3.
Mm-hmm.
If they revealed who like the new DJs are going to be for the Splatoon, because that's like a big deal.
I don't know. No, I don't think they have.
I don't think they have. That's going to be very exciting. Loru Legend says, what is your favorite Nintendo game reveal ever? Link's Awakening on Switch was a huge moment for me because I knew almost immediately what game it was, and it popped off. Also, Metroid Dread was a moment I never expected to happen, so that could also be ranked high for me. Yeah, Metroid Dread was great. I was there when Link's Awakening happened, Jeff, because we were at our Airbnb for E3. I remember you were very excited.
Yes, it was. Yep. I remember it was like... we were working, so I'm like looking down, looking up, and like the thing starts, and like I hear the waves crashing. I'm like, nah, and then I look up, and the first thing I see is like the boot. I'm like, oh my god, was that at E3? I feel like I was like
at E3.
Okay, wow, all right.
I was there with you. I remember.
Okay, yes.
I remember being in the Airbnb because we were covering it together. Gosh, so I think the Kirby recent one was very exciting, just because, and they do it, and they even do it in that demo. Like they know when they're like setting it up so it looks like you could finally move forward for the first time, and everybody's just waiting for Kirby to move forward and not just go left and right. They played that up.
That was very good.
Very well.
Yeah.
It's not game per se, but I love a lot of the like Smash Bros. Character reveals. Like the thing I'm most excited for ever was when Mega Man showed up during the reveal for Smash Bros. For Wii U. I absolutely freaked out for that.
Yeah, the Link's Awakening would have been my answer as well, because that was a very good moment.
Dreaming Madden says, you think there's a chance we get a Nintendo Indie World Direct earlier this month or April? And if so, will Silksong finally show up? This time, I'm going to say Silksong's not showing up so that it finally does. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to go on the record.
Yeah, they normally do Indie Worlds in, December and around GDC time. And GDC is like right now-ish, right? Mm-hmm. So... I would expect an Indie World, probably now, like in the next week or two, or early April. Yeah, that sounds right.
VJ Turbo says, VJ Turbo, you guys are all funny. Just wanted to thank everyone that came by for Splatoon night last week. It was a blast playing through the game with all of you, and I cannot wait to do it again in our lead up to whenever the hell Splatoon 3 launches. You all are great. Till next time, stay fresh. Yes, Jeff, I haven't been able to get shooting your juice out of my head all weekend, and how dare you?
Yeah, in Splatoon, you shoot. Everyone's always like saying ink, and I know it sounds right, but it's not right. You're actually shooting squid juice. Also, I just got that Stay Fresh is kind of a reference to like seafood. Like they're all seafood, and you want to eat fresh seafood, and they're like sushi and stuff. So
you want to eat them.
Yeah. Well, of course
you want to eat. Yeah. You want to eat Marina.
Well, yeah,
Marina.
Whether she was a fish or not. Yeah.
Weird. The Egg Doctor asks, is Diddy Kong Racing coming to the Switch Nintendo 64 library? Now that Nintendo and Microsoft are friends again, Banjo-Kazooie was released on Switch, and the GoldenEye rumors. Surely the Nintendo 64's Bet's Kart Racer can finally return.
I might agree with that at this point. At this point, I think I'd rather go back and play Diddy Kong Racing. I think
that if they're bringing some rare games over, they will absolutely get to Diddy Kong Racing at some point. Did they not already even announce it?
I feel like I made that up in my head now that I'm like thinking about it. I don't think they have. I'm like, that's inevitable.
There was like a leak at some point that was saying it was going to. Okay, yeah, it's not announced. I would imagine that one is coming.
Yes, agreed.
Pablo Cos. Happy Tuesday, my favorite doggos. Imagine this scenario. Nintendo gives you the green light to develop a spin-off game for one of its franchises. Think of something like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker or Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land.
I always am thinking about it. Go ahead.
And you have complete control over it. With that in mind, what characters would you pick to star in the game, and what genre would it be? Mike, now's your chance to pitch that Princess Daisy, an erotic thriller idea. No, it wouldn't be a thrill. It would be erotic. It wouldn't be a thriller. It would be very lighthearted and fun. No, I always have wanted Gino from Super Mario RPG to get his own game.
It could just be like, it could be that Astro Boy game for Game Boy Advance, just with Gino instead.
Be that, right. If it really wanted to get ambitious, you could do something like Ratchet and Clanky with it.
Yeah.
Just like more like magic themed instead of like hard like weapons theme, you know? But yeah, that's absolutely the like side character that I want to get his own game the most by far is Gino.
This is messed up because honestly, if I were to like think really hard about the game I most want, it is Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land. I'm like, take Tingle and put him in a game about economics where he has to like guess price about capitalism, and he's got to like figure out like what prices people are willing to pay, and if he doesn't guess right, they take all his money, and it's like this really harsh system. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Well, that game exists. It never came out in North America, but there are ways to play it. So yeah, Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land
games,
too.
Right?
I don't know if there was a second one. Maybe.
Yeah, there's two. There are two of those.
Okay, well, shit, I never played the second one.
Yeah, you're really far behind.
Yeah.
Reese Elliott says Nintendo has to make DLC for any Nintendo game of your choice, old or new. Which game gets a new DLC? Any game, old or new. I'm pretty boring. My first thing is I just want more characters for Smash Brothers still. So that's not a very exciting answer. I'm not a giant fan of DLC for the most part, but like fighting games just always makes perfect sense. Because yeah, just give me more characters. Otherwise, I don't really I don't want more levels for a game usually. Yeah. Right, like if you're like, here's a new level pack for Super Mario World, okay, like that would be indistinguishable from me to just playing like one of those ROM hacks.
Right. I almost kind of want DLC. This is not true, but in a part of me, a little bit wants DLC instead of a sequel for Super Mario Odyssey, simply because I think they could get even weirder with the levels if it was DLC and not a sequel. DLC. Right, like they would like my joke that I'm actually 100% serious about is Super Mario Brothers the Movie Kingdom. Like,
yeah, that'd be incredible.
That would be incredible, and it could only ever happen in DLC.
$50 just for that.
Yes, if $50 just exactly. I would just for that alone. I think they could do some really messed up stuff with that. It'd be really fun, but that's the only thing I can really think of. Again, I'm with Mike, where I'm just DLC almost feels like a hassle to me a lot of times.
Beefhammer, how long will it take until Nintendo decides to innovate the Switch by making it have two foldable screens like some smartphones are doing? Basically, I want Nintendo to go full circle and give us a Nintendo Switch DS. I want them to do that only so that it would be very easy to release, Nintendo Switch and 3DS games on the thing. But Jeff, is Nintendo ever going to make another like folding or dual screen system again?
If they do, I think it will still be like a single screen system in terms of how the games are presented. Like they might find a way to like have a Switch that like folds in half. And it'll be like the Switch SP, but then you unfold it with the folding screen, and then you can play the game. The problem with those folding screens right now is they have a crease in them, and I don't think that's like it's not too bad when you're just like navigating the web and using apps and stuff. Like you ignore it, but in a game, that discoloration would be annoying. So I think Nintendo probably not going to do that anytime soon.
Lausian says, "Hey guys, hope you're well. What are predictions for Sony State of Play? What franchises from Japanese publishers will be there?" We talked about this a little bit. I sure hope Final Fantasy 16 is going to be there at least. Like maybe they can even tease Final Fantasy 7 Part 2. We used to say, Jeff, that they probably weren't going to talk about Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2 until at least Forspoken came out, but that just got delayed.
Yeah.
So maybe that's not the plan anymore. I don't know. Probably still not. Probably still 16. And then Resident Evil 4, Jeff said remake that. Something Resident Evil would make sense.
Right, it could be Village DLC. Like that could be there too, yeah.
And Atlas is supposed to be like making Persona announcements all year, right? So like maybe one of those, like maybe they'll at least put Golden on PlayStation 5. That'd be nice.
My God, right? Why wouldn't they just do that at the very least? What a weird company.
What a weird company. So maybe something there. But those are my biggest. I mean, is Team Asobi going to show up? Are they going to talk about PlayStation VR 2 more and at least maybe show?
Yeah, no. That? They specifically said they're not going to talk about PlayStation VR 2 more. Then. Yes, that was like the follow-up tweet. All
right then. From Octo, hey there, Minotti Nears. There you go. See, it's a Minity related one this time. He says, "Thank you. That makes me happy." So, as a Columbo aficionado, people really heard that I was a Columbo fan this week. I like that. Both of us. You need to check a few criteria to be a Columbo murderer. Most importantly, you have to be an important person,
Right.
rich, famous, something. Yeah, we talked about this. An obvious pick would be Wario, since he seems super willing to murder. But my pick would actually be Mario.
Right.
Sure, the banter wouldn't be as good, but Mario makes perfect sense as a Columbo murderer.
He does, actually.
Since he's the upper crust of Nintendo high society, he probably kills Toad by accident, running him over in his cart, and couldn't bear the thought of losing it all, so he makes it look like an accident, and he would be very polite to Columbo, getting increasingly frustrated with his constant badgering. Sorry for the Columbo rant, but I couldn't resist. Radu from Romania. Thank you. I think it mostly makes sense. The only thing I don't like there is Mario killing Toad in an accident. Usually they are planned murders. Now sometimes they are in the moment passionate murders, and sometimes they're like cold, methodical, planned out ones. But they're always pretty intentionally murders.
Right. You're not supposed to feel like you're supposed to feel empathy and sympathy for these characters by the end, like because Columbo's just so relentless and stuff. But yeah, you're not supposed to like at the beginning be like, oh, it's just an accident. Like if you could just tell someone, like you're like, no, they need to make the conscious decision to murder him usually. But Mario also would do that. I feel like in a Columbo episode, absolutely, he would be probably the right murderer.
All right, Jeff, that's it for the community questions. Do we have some super chats we want to get to?
Yeah, I do. I got them right here. Let's take a look here. Got a handful in, starting with Uriel Delgado. Any news on a Desert Bus reboot? They were working on something, weren't they? Or am I making that up?
Desert Bus. I feel like the original Desert Bus already accomplishes everything that needs to be accomplished from that idea.
Okay, no, I think it was just a joke that someone was making about Desert Bus 2. So that's gonna happen 100% without any minute.
There you go, Jeff. Play along.
Yes. From Kyle Martin. Good day, sirs. Easy question. What would an Elden Ring inspired Breath of the Wild 2 look like?
What would be any difference about it?
Yeah, not much. Maybe. I don't know, bigger map, more enemy variety. Like I think if like Breath of the Wild honestly had the enemy variety of Elden Ring, that would be incredible on its own.
Yeah.
Like that's
I
like
like the idea of finding more nooks and crannies that like turn into things closer to dungeons or like mini dungeons and stuff. Like not just having those be from those shrines, right?
Yes,
like a lot of those showed
having like one out of every 10, 15 shrines be a significantly larger thing that is almost a dungeon unto itself. I agree. That would be the big takeaway that I've really, really enjoyed about Elden Ring. That like going into a place that you discover, maybe even being a little afraid to go in the first time because you're like, man, I'm kind of in an area where I'm over leveled anyhow. Right. This is probably going to take me to some place in the map where I'm even more out of my depth. But then coming back there and be like, oh wow, there was just an entire underground world here. Mm-hmm. This is just a whole other city down here. Like that is fantastic, and that's one of the best things about Elden Ring, and Breath of the Wild could take that away. It feels like the kind of thing that I bet they considered when making Breath of the Wild, and they're just like, we're making this for the Wii U and the Switch, so no. So hopefully they get a chance to like build on those ideas. From Victor Victor Marinez, was curious what you guys thought of review scores. If there is a point to them anymore, since they often take away from the review itself. It's easy to go ahead, Mike. You have thoughts.
I don't know. I don't know if they take away from the review, so sometimes I don't know how much they add. I will say, like with Horizon recently, I didn't score because it was a review in progress, and some people have asked me where my score was, and it's like, I didn't beat it yet still because I'm just playing Elden Ring, and frankly, I feel like I really said everything I want to say about that game anyways, and I'm not going to score it without beating it because. Jeff, I wanted to say because that wouldn't be a good review, but I think because people would be mad at me is
That's
really why I wouldn't do it. Because I honestly feel like I articulated very well what that game made me feel like, unless there's like some story stuff to say in the end, which I don't know how much I care about that anyway. So,
right. The story stuff is like the real reason I think you need to finish a game to review. If the game is putting a story first, and I think Horizon probably does. So you might, but
you would. It's like again, I wouldn't score it without beating it, but I also don't feel this big need to do that because I don't feel like it's going to somehow, in this case, anyways, make my criticism any better. I was pretty happy saying what I said in that review, and then even saying, look, if you're looking for a recommendation, here it is. Right? Yep. You can feel good buying the game. if you're looking for me to pad out some Metacritic numbers, something, sorry.
Yeah, it's I generally feel like in a vacuum, I think scores are fine. I think in a sort of academic way, they are helpful to a certain audience that is not super tuned in, and I think in a practical way, they are almost always just misused by the worst gamers among us who are just always sitting in some operating room somewhere in the middle of a surgery and still having a console war fight.
Right. It's like, holy shit.
People, Google that, like operating room console war thing. The guy deleted the tweet, but someone just straight up had a video of them taking, it was like they were like taking a video of the person's like personal documents, like their medical records and stuff, which is super illegal, I'm sure. Even if you get their consent, Jesus, what a messed up thing. I still can't get over that. Those are the kind of people that like care about scores because they can use them to fuel the fight, which is the thing they care about and not the games themselves. But I kind of am always hesitant about letting the worst people define how we make make our choices about how we do our job. There are still people who use scores to make a quick decision. And I think in general, even if my score is only going to Metacritic and sort of contributing to that number, I think Metacritic tends to do a pretty decent job of telling a person whether or not they're going to like it. Now, Elden Ring, like someone shopping casually for a game and they see Elden Ring in 97, they go to buy that. That might be an exception to the rule. But even then, it's like, I don't know. Give it a shot. We'll see. Maybe you will like it.
Mm-hmm. All right, what's next?
Yes, let's see. We got one from Lost Boys Gaming. Is Nintendo mad over the NVIDIA leak with Switch Pro? Yeah, probably a little bit, but also...
normally I'd be like, who cares? But it's Nintendo. They probably do care.
Nintendo does, like, didn't... the story about, like, Nintendo got really mad at Netflix about the Zelda series leaking or something, so they just pulled the deal out of there. I don't know if that's true. That could be apocryphal, but that was the story anyhow. This was a malicious attack, like a ransomware attack, and I think that NVIDIA can probably point to that and be like, listen, you had the Giga leak. Like, are you really one to judge? I mean, this happens to you, it happens to us, it happens to everybody. So you can get mad, but like, what are we going to do here? You're going to go work with AMD? Like, we provide the tech you need. So, yeah. From Bander SN, it's been a while since Mario changed careers. What new Mario job game would you like to see? I'd want to see Chef Mario, a Mario cooking game. That's a good one, Bander.
That's good. Mario's cookie, or Yoshi's cookie, kind of got a Chef Mario. That's close.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
that was a Baker Mario. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I want Mario to become a game journalist so that I can release a video game and not give him the code early.
Okay, very good. I was gonna say I want Mario to be like a film director or something. Like, what was that? That movie?
Like Leisure Suit Larry?
Not like a porn movie director.
It wasn't a porn movie. I thought it was just a Leisure Suit Larry.
I've not played this. I've not played the Leisure Suit Larry where he was a film director. Is he like that?
It's the worst one, I think.
Come So Loud or whatever it was called.
It's the sequel to Come Assume. Come. It's a sequel to Come.
Mike, that does it for the super chats. We should just move on.
If you say so, Jeff. Let's talk about favorite Pokemon starters. And Jeff, I want to ask you, because I bet you have an answer. What is your favorite Pokemon starter? Notice I say what, not whom, because Pokemon are just tools.
Right, they're just objects. So of all the Pokemon starters, I'm just picking my favorite. That's what we're doing here.
What, you think it's a trick question?
I don't know. It feels because I feel like if I'm going to answer, but it's like I mean, I think for the first one I picked Charmander, right?
No, not out of all of them. Your all-time favorite one.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it was the first one, so it's my favorite one, I think. But also, if I'm being legit, my favorite one is just having Pikachu follow you around in Pokemon Yellow.
Wow, what a normie.
I mean, yeah, okay, let's see all the very like hipster answers we're gonna get from our community.
Hipster answers like Squirtle.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you know my answer?
Yeah, I do actually. What's your answer?
Yeah, Pinpop is very good.
Okay, that's true. The penguin,
the penguin, and he also has a very good final evolution with Empoleon that looks great. That's what matters to me. Is the start and the end. Middle doesn't matter. You have that for basically like 5 hours of gameplay time.
Right. It's not about the journey. It's just about the destination.
Right. Or
Yeah.
it's matter where you, exactly. Which is not how I think that goes, but it does for me. So the point is good. Cyndaquil is also great, largely because I had, once again, his final form, Typhlosion. Back when like Pokemon was all new, I imported some Japanese Pokemon cards, and it came with a Typhlosion in like a binder. And like that Pokemon card made Typhlosion look like a Godzilla monster, and that was just fantastic. That I've always liked Cyndaquil since then. I was very happy when he was in Legends as one because of that. All right, Jeff, we got a lot of answers here. Let's see what the community thinks. See if anyone else is as normie as you. Chikorita says that entire line. Oh, Chikorita. Alex says Chikorita. Chikorita. What if Chikorita wrote
it? Write it in. Everybody run.
Chikorita is like myself. Alex says Chikorita. That entire line is top tier, and I've always loved it. And Heart Gold, I got one as my first ever shiny. And the one in the anime also has such a fun personality. Often go for grass types, which tend to be viewed negatively, but Chikorita is currently underrated and one of my favorite Pokemon lines on top of being a great starter. If I sound defensive, it's because I am. The Chikorita's final form is great because it just looks like a giant, like, sauropod dinosaur thing. It's fantastic.
Chikorita just sounds like I'm going to order the drink at a bar and it's going to come with a big
sounds like
umbrella.
I'm on vacation. Yeah.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. Moonlight Turbo 150 says, Rowlet. I never had much attachment to starters like many others did. Sure, I like some more than others and had one I preferred in each generation when I started a new game. Then came along this cute little owl who grows up to be a silent but deadly archer, sporting a hoodie, who uses his own feathers as arrows. Now my unrivaled favorite starter and top 5 Pokemon of all time. Rowlet's great. I was also happy he was a starter in Legends. Was it Desudai or whatever is his final form? I remember when the rumor was Desudai was going to be like the new Pokemon in Smash Brothers, and we got Luchador Firecat instead, which
what is Rowlet's final evolution called? Robinhood?
No, Desudai or something like that.
Okay,
it's the archer thing.
So I think maybe someone just named it Robinhood, and that's what I'm looking at.
That's pretty good.
It looks like a fucking edgelord.
Whoa, damn,
that's my input.
I'm sorry, he's just not a fat rat that shoots electricity.
Yes, exactly.
Dr. Suss says, my favorite is Agumon or something. I don't know. I don't play Pokemon. I love Digimon. Agumon was pretty good. I remember when Ty tried to make Agumon Digivolve and he turned into this Skull Greymon and he was evil and it was bad. We all learned an important lesson that day. VJ Turbo says, I'm answering early, and that means I could be basic and say Charmander is my favorite. VJ Turbo, you are still not as basic as Jeff, don't worry.
I said Charmander first.
Yeah, Charmander wasn't normie enough for you. You had to go deeper.
Exactly.
He says, such a classic design and the
this vanilla is
popularity
too
of
spicy.
such a classic design and the popularity of Charizard cannot be debated. You have to say pinchy. That's what my mom would say when something was too spicy, which usually mean it had like a black pepper in it. It was like,
pinched my tongue. That's very good.
Turbo continues. VJ Turbo continues. He's not VJ incoming this week. He's VJ Turbo. His whole shtick in the anime of being the strong Pokemon that doesn't like to do anything unless he sees a truly worthy opponent was so cool to me as a kid. What a badass. I want to be a Charizard when I grow up. I did it like that anime arc. I was always weirded out in the anime how they're like, ha ha ha, Pokemon's souls change when they evolve. I was like, what? That's not just my Pikachu now in a different form. It's like, nope, that's an entirely different sentient being. And like, maybe there's some lingering memory of the past. Like, oh, that's weird. I don't like it. Pablo Ka says, my favorite starter Pokemon is both, this is the edgelord answer, it's both Espeon and Umbreon from Pokemon Colosseum. Those two were the perfect duo in that game, and having access to Psychic and Dark-type moves from the beginning is fantastic. I know people don't like double battles, but I find them pretty enticing. At some point, I'm going to go check out that Pokemon game. I missed Colosseum completely. Wildfire Alex says, this was a really tough one to go to for me, but my favorite Pokemon starter is Gen 3's Torchic. Sure, it looks like a baby bird at first, but once it evolves into Combusken and then the UFC champion Blaziken, it's a damn near unstoppable fire and fighting powerhouse. It has an extremely impressive attack and special attack stats to begin with and makes it more lethal the more you train it. Sure, it might have some more weaknesses due to its unique dual type, but it also has a very high defense against some of the more established fan favorites such as Fire, Grass, Ice, Bug, Dark, and Steel. Some people might prefer the ever more popular Mudkip, but for me, Torchic is an all-time classic that made my journey in Ruby Sapphire one of the best experiences I've ever had in Pokemon. Honorable mentions go to Charmander and Chimchar. I liked Torchic the most from Gen 3. Blaziken was good, despite establishing that kind of unfortunate precedent of these weird humanoid, often dual fighting type Pokemon starter final evolutions. Visualizer just says Squirtle forever. And then Azizzy says Totodile is my favorite starter. He was my first and only blind starter pick. I had no idea what he's going to evolve into when I picked him, and he was perfect. There's a lot of Gen 1 and Gen 2 answers, which I think part of that is just that's a lot of people's first Pokemon games, but also those were really good starters back then. Gigi64 says, this is the only choice, and then he inserted a Squirtle Squad GIF, the one with the sunglasses.
Sure,
which is good. Yeah, that's pretty good stuff. Screaming Bandit says, while Squirtle has my favorite starter line and evolves into the legend that is Blastoise, who my dad calls Blastose-E, I can't say Squirtle is my favorite starter because in Yellow, I eventually got all 3 stars from Red and Blue later on. Since Yellow is my first Pokemon, I'm going with a basic bitch answer. He even says it and saying Pikachu.
Yeah.
I love that Pikachu would always follow you around as you explored the map. He was an absolute pro as an electric type, which besides Let's Go Pikachu, we rarely get electric types as starters, even though Pikachu has been my only electric starter. I do wish that like one of these new gen games would at least be like, look, the starters don't have to be fire, water, and grass at least.
Yeah, that's a good point. Why do again? Whatever, it's Pokemon.
Bench Turbo says my favorite starter is Oshawott, as it has the perfect mix of cute and extremely cute. There's no other choice that is as good as Oshawott, and his evolutions are so epic. Jeff, we talked about this when we ranked all the starters. I do not like Oshawott. I think Oshawott looks like a pathetic clown.
Yeah, I think I agreed. I think I'm like, yes, overall it does. It looks sad in a way that is upsetting to me. Sobble definitely has the same thing going on, but
like Sobble either.
Yes, the emotionally manipulative Pokemon are not my favorite.
Absolutely. Nick Turbo Shot says, my favorite Pokemon starter is Psyduck, served in a duck roll style with hoisin sauce and spring onion. Nom nom. He's got jokes. Who is this Nick Turbo Shot? Who are you? Who is this normally?
That's Joe Biden, actually. Just
Joe Biden's writing it. That's great. Yeah. Serious answer is Totodile. It cements the bursting excitement 10-year-old me had for Gen 2, and it has the coolest middle evolution by far. Who doesn't love a half croc, half caveman, half egg? That's right, he did look like a caveman. I didn't remember what that middle evolution for Totodile looked like until you said caveman. I was like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Velocity Prime 1 says, can throw a bit of a curveball and say that my favorite starter evolution is Greninja. The ninja theming is perfectly executed, and the tongue scarf is one of the best design elements of a Pokemon. Yeah, I don't like Froakie very much, the first one. But Greninja is great, and he keeps showing up and shit. Like he was in Pokemon and everything. Everyone likes Greninja. Nintendo Pro says Mudkip is the only right answer. I will hear no slander. Mudkip has a lot of fans, Jeff. I think we talked about this before. I'm not a giant Mudkip fan. His final evolution is boring, from what I remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Was he Gold and Silver? Was that second gen or third gen?
No, Gold and Silver. I think he's third gen. Okay. Yeah, I think he's Ruby and Sapphire. That sounds right.
He's on the border of being like one of those sad Pokemons. He's got the frowny face.
Got a little bit of a frowny face. Beat Emmer says, Fuecoco has only recently entered to my life, but he's already my favorite. It's been a while since I saw a starter and immediately wanted to choose them. Here's hoping his evolutions are awesome. This is Fuecoco is the new fire starter coming up in Scarlet and
he's
Violet.
Bullshit compared to Weed Cat.
He's better than Weed Cat. Maybe not as good as Donald Duck. Crimson 13 says, I think Cyndaquil is the coolest starter. Perhaps Charmander. That new Fire Bunny is cool too. I remember, the Fire Bunny, what the hell is his name? Spur Bunny or something from Sword and Shield. I thought he was cool, but his evolutions kind of sucked. Lower Legend says, I was a Gen 1er for years and was always partial to Squirtle until Rowlet came along. That little owl takes the cake for me. There's a lot of Rowlet fans with his bikini top, right?
Oh yeah, bikini top, saying. Right? Exactly, yes.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I was really against him for it. Then when I looked at it, finally, I was like, I can maybe kind of see how people. Yes,
and there is a long bit of Vinny from Giant Bomb back when he was at Giant Bomb doing that and saying that he really believed that.
Wow.
So yeah, that's where that was originally from.
Benji Turbo says the middle evolutions of the starters never get any love. So shout out to Grovel. The evolution of Trico. Trico was another bland one for me. As a kid, I always thought his leaf mohawk ponytail looked so cool. I'll tell you what, I don't remember what this guy looks like, but the fact that you described it as a leaf mohawk / ponytail, not great. Anyways, he continues, and he had these 4-arm leaf blades that looked sick. This Pokemon sounds worse and worse. There's not enough great middle evolution designs, but Grovel is one that stands out. Before I realized there were significant statistical disadvantages to never fully evolving your Pokemon, I would always give Grovel the Everstone, not realizing it made my playthroughs that much harder. That's funny. Schwa218 says, my honest answer is none of them. I've played 3 to 4 mainline titles and Arceus, and I find the gameplay a little too repetitive and mundane. I think Pokemon is a microcosm for current nostalgia-based entertainment.
It's not a critic
new.
here.
Yeah, it's not new, but the consolidation of the market leads to minor incremental increases without a real push for innovation. Disney is a great example of this problem.
Yeah,
They make up
Disney.
25% of box office. Shut up, Jeff. I'll never rain on anyone's parade for love of Pokemon. It's okay for so many people to love a children's dogfighting simulator.
I think it's very good.
There's some shame. It's just a symptom of a broader concerning trend. I hear you. I think you're maybe overreacting.
It's not a symptom of a trend. It's not. It's just people like a video game. It's usually that simple.
All right, and so there are just so many. Look, a lot of people are attached to it because of the thing they played as their kids, but it keeps growing in popularity because there's always new kids. There's always new Pokemon games.
Right. Yes, and there's something to be said for other companies trying to do it and not doing it as well. And like, what part don't they do as well? Usually just the aesthetic part and the character part, and like creating something that is attractive to that younger audience. And yeah, I think it's worthy of its success.
Jayton says, this is such a hard choice, but I'm hoping it'll be Quaxley. For now, I guess I'll have to go with Chimchar because I love chimps. I'm still working through Shining Pearl. Jeff, I do not like chimps.
Yeah, a bit too close to humans for your...
Way too close. They're literally the closest to humans.
They're so close that when they get old and can't work anymore, like if they were like working in a circus or like working in a lab or something, we do not put them down. That's the one animal we do not euthanize. Yeah. They have retirement homes because we feel too bad about euthanizing them.
Yeah, it's too weird. No, yeah, they use their tools to get the ants with the sticks, and they have these complex societies, but they are also still fucking gross.
It puts me in my place. It puts me in my place. I'm like, yeah, I'm just an animal too.
I'm not saying I get that. I understand
but I like it. I'm like, oh yeah, fucking put me in my place, Mother Nature.
I was listening to a couple audiobooks about like animals and stuff, and one of them was some Carl Sagan thing about evolution and whatnot. And there was a lot of talk about chimps in it, including this really long sort of like fictional narrative section where he was like writing from like the internal like headspace of the chimps. And it was like at first you didn't know they were chimps. I was like, what's going on here? But it's also very vulgar, so it was weird. So it's like a Carl Sagan book.
Lots of talks about balls and penises.
Lots of talks about sex and balls and saying the word fuck a lot. Cool. And it was real weird from a Carl Sagan book, I'll tell you what.
Oh yeah, all right. I should have put that in my wedding vows.
There you go. Overhaul 89 says Squirtle is my favorite. I can't believe I'm back to that after talking about what I just said. Squirtle is my favorite. The star design is cute, and Blastoise is such a strong and vaguely Digimon-like design. He is very close to a Digimon, isn't he? Yeah, that's a good point.
That's true. Yeah,
Blastoise is practically a Digimon. Maybe that's why he is pretty good.
I'm trying to like think about because it's tortoise, like tortoise. Tortoise is the animal.
Yeah.
So and it's tortoise, so Blastoise.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then War Turtle is kind of meh, but I think there's no good middle design for any starter. Close second is Rookie. Yeah, War Turtle is very weird. But again, you have him for like 2 minutes, basically. The Longest Beard says, there are a lot of good ones and a lot of less good ones, but Cyndaquil will always be my favorite. First ever starter that I chose in any Pokemon game since Gold was my first, and still my favorite more than 20 years later. Yep, Cyndaquil is fantastic. I was super happy that I could use him in Legends. Reese Elliott says Squirtle because its name sounds like turtle porn. I'll tell you what, never made that connection before, Reese. Never made that connection before. Rabbit says Orchinix, which is not a Pokemon, and I assume it must be a Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic reference, knowing him, but it's going over my head. Orchinx, do you know what is this?
I don't. I'll Google it, or don't say the word anymore.
Why?
Just don't. Yeah, it's okay. I don't know. It looks like maybe it was a homemade Pokemon card. It looks like a weed cat.
Wait, it's a homemade Pokemon card?
I don't know. That's what it looks like. I mean,
So
there's a bunch.
it is related to Pokemon. I'm looking this up now.
It's a green cat. Pokemon Uranium. It must have been a fan.
Oh my god!
game.
Look how deep he's going on us.
Yes. I think it originally debuted in StarCraft 64. There we go.
He's a bigger nerd than I thought. Turbo Sean says, my favorite starter is my little buddy who started with me not on only my first Pokemon journey, but my first adventure through a video game of my own, Mudkip. The Mudkip line is interesting since starting with Marsh Stomp then becomes water and ground type. Combination that had not been done before, but had been done before, but it blew my mind as a kid to have my strongest Pokemon, a water starter, be immune to electricity. Furthermore, Mudkip evolves in one of my favorite Pokemon, Swampert, and not only has a cool design, but has been a huge help to me over the years in both competitive video games and the trading card game. Maybe that's my problem with Mudkip is that Swampert just makes me think of Swamp Ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes, that's fair. And those word associations get me too, Mike. I understand.
Yeah, right. The Yank Doctor says Bulbasaur. There is a reason he is number 001.
I thought we were going to get through all the way through that. Anyone saying Bulbasaur? And I was
Bulbasaur is underrated. Like I agree, he is.
Statistically, he's the right choice in the first game.
Yes.
Right?
Oh yeah. Because he's strong against both Brock and Misty. So
right.
It's very powerful in the beginning. All right.
Oh, yeah. Good for him.
That's that. We did it. I don't know if we did we get any. I don't know if we got any more super chats in while I was doing all of that, but I actually don't think we did.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we're all good. Let me hit the mark all as read and yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So Jeff, for next week's topic, I kind of talked about this a little bit, but Kirby finally getting a 3D platformer. What other Nintendo franchise deserves to have a new 3D platformer? It could be something that never has had one. It could be one that hasn't had one in a very long time, like Donkey Kong. So that's what we're going with. What other Nintendo franchise should get a new 3D platformer? And I guess I kind of already stole my answer by talking about Yoshi.
We definitely answered yours.
Yeah. You missed mine, Mikey. Did I?
I don't know what he's talking about. It's just Nick Turbo. He's always like this in chat.
He always spares. What did you say, Nick Turbo? I probably got confused because there's somebody now who's called Nick Turbo Sean in the chat. You could understand how I could go past things sometimes. But Jeff,
yeah, fair enough.
I'll try to find his answer, Jeff. In the meantime, have you been playing any Nintendo games?
We played that Splatoon, and I was really enjoying myself going back to that game. I am very much ready for Splatoon 3 now. But going back and playing Splatoon 2, especially playing the private matches and having VJ, who's a big Splatoon fan, like run us through all the stuff that we might have missed if we weren't there for all the events. That was really cool. It's like, oh man, all these different modes are fun. Seeing all these different maps. Some of these maps are very good. And yeah, like I had a couple good matches where I was destroying you, and then a couple matches where I just could not get 5 feet into there without you guys destroying me. So
he put in the Nick. When you put in the answers after the podcast starts, you have no right to spam chat saying I missed you.
Yeah, it completely derail everything.
Just say it in the chat. Just, you know what? You can send it as a super chat at that point. You're late. Anyways, his answer is Sobble. So there, it's Sobble. Because he says it's me. He says it reminds him of himself. I agree.
Me too. That little weird, a manipulative creature. That's exactly right, Nick Turbo. Good point.
Anywho's, yes. Yeah, we had a lot of fun with Splatoon 2, and I was really enjoying playing those Splatfest modes.
Yes.
That's like splatting all over the place.
Yeah, I love to splat my squid juice everywhere in Splatoon.
Jesus Christ. Why did I start that? I wasn't ready for you to continue it.
Other than that, I haven't had too much time for anything else. Although I am very much looking forward to Kirby, even though I haven't touched the demo. I'm like, at this point, I really do just want the whole thing.
At this point, you don't have to play. You just wait for the full game. I give you my permission.
Or I might play it on stream if I do. If I get like a hankering, I'm like, oh yeah, it's 20 minutes. We'll do something on there, like while we're waiting for everyone to file in for a stream or something like that. But yeah, other than that, no. How about you? You got anything going on the Switch?
Not really on the Switch. I was actually made a lot more progress in Mario and Luigi and kind of getting to the end of that. I sort of want to beat that on the Analog Pocket before Kirby comes out, so I'll be kind of squared away on that one because I had to take a big break from that to play Pokemon Legends and then some other things. So I think I'm good on that now. I feel kind of weird that I had no interest in Triangle Strategy at all, and like I feel kind of bad we're doing a Nintendo podcast. We basically have nothing to say about that either of us, but I don't know.
I might try it. The problem is just like
there's a demo. I didn't even play the demo.
Yeah, maybe I'll try the demo. The issue is that everyone says it's really talky and slow. And
right.
and it's like I don't know if
You're not going
to
to handle that, Jeff, very well.
Mm-mm.
And even I don't know how much. Like, Final Fantasy Tactics 1 was kind of like that, but Final Fantasy Tactics also had a pretty good story. I just don't know if Triangle Strategy has that in it.
Right. I'm not in the mood for I'm not in a place where I can spend my time with talkie games instead of doing games.
I still can't believe that game is that narrative focused, and they still named it after like its genre. Like it's called Triangle Strategy.
Right. Yeah. Like it's genre and like its structure of like, oh yeah, it's a paper rock scissors thing. That's right. It sends mixed messages. Like to me, calling it Triangle Strategy says, yeah, we're just gonna get into the shit with this game. We're gonna get right into it. And then to like make a big deal about your story just feels like you don't really understand what you're trying to make here. But whatever. People seem to like the game.
I hope there's at least a lot of waifus then.
Yeah, I mean at least have
Fire Emblem talks a lot, but it's like here's a new
it
waifu every
rewards
5 minutes.
Right? Yeah, it's just
Rewards you.
Just like real life, where if you listen to talking long enough, you get a lady.
Happy International Women's Day, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry, everybody. It was just a joke.
Oh, Rachel just came back too.
No, please. I'm so sorry. I don't mean it.
No, Rachel likes Fire Emblem. That's good.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's got great waifus in Husband.
Rachel, who's your Fire Emblem waifu? Now that you're here, I don't know if we know. Or husbando. Excuse me.
Yeah, I also have the Steam Deck, but still been putting emulators on there. I am afraid and probably will never put the Switch emulator on there. That's like I don't want to. I own a Switch.
Jeff, I think you should. I agree with you. I think you should not do that.
I think I'm not going to do that.
In fact, I want you to look at your camera right now and speak to Nintendo directly and promise them you will not do that.
You want me to speak to authority and tell them I'll obey them, Mike? I don't know if that's a good idea. That's something I
it's your favorite thing to do.
I will feel bad about anything I do that would be anything like that. And I'll try my best.
See why you got tased.
Nintendo would totally tase me. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, they 100%.
Absolutely.
Would be great.
All right, Mike. I don't know. Did we get an answer from Rachel? It depends on the game.
Yeah, we got a non-answer from Rachel. Yeah. Wow.
But she doesn't have that's nice. She doesn't definitive answer though. It's like
No, it's bad. I don't like it. It seems wishy-washy to me.
It goes against Jeff's religion. That's right.
All right, Jeff, we can start wrapping
up.
Punk
rock is my religion. I don't listen to authority. I eat Totino's pizza rolls. Let's get out of here, Mike.
Totino's. How do they know? Give me a game, Rachel. Just out of all the games, 3 houses. Then, if you need one, God. Anyways, we will be back tomorrow actually to live stream the Sony State of the Play.
Yes, we will.
Jeff, we'll see if Rachel wants to do that. So that's 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back on Friday with Games Beat Decides. And you can find me on Twitter at Tokoto, TOLKOTO. Look, Claude is her answer from 3 answers. Good. That's the leader of the yellow team, right? I think that makes sense. Jeff.
Claude. I'm Jeff Grubb on Twitter. I just Googled Claude, and I didn't even Google Microsoft Bing, and you'll be surprised to know it didn't just come up with the guy from Fire Emblem.
That's right. It's the leader of the yellow team. Team Yellow.
Oh my God, Claude is the name of the character from Grand Theft Auto 3?
Yeah, it's just Claude.
Wow, I've never known that. State of Play tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
It's a fire.